Okay, so this is going to be a training on the referral play. Now, this is something that we have, as of relatively recently, like the last couple of months, we've started to put a lot of focus on referrals. I've always been somebody who is very all in on one thing, and if I'm on one thing, I forget about everything else. And this is how I've been with referrals and organic up until, like I say, a couple of months ago. Was always in the mindset of like, ads are the best way to scale. It's the quickest way to scale. It's the easiest way to scale. If I want to, double my volume, I just double my ad spend. It's the easiest thing ever. So in that case, I'm going all in on ads, and I'm forgetting about organic, and I'm forgetting about referrals, because who cares about that when I can just spend more on ads? That's been my mindset. I know it's relatively flawed, and so now, as of recent, last couple of months, we've really been going hard on referrals, and moving forward, we're going to start going harder on organic as well, because I think it's a combination, and that's really where referrals come in. When you have a great referral system, it is unbelievably powerful, given you have a consistent stream of new people coming into your ecosystem, becoming a client, coming into your business every single day. That's what ads provides. And then referrals on the back end, when you have that front end flow, referrals just takes that to a whole nother level. And it's honestly now the reason why. So we've just recently took our spend from about, we was kind of set at 4 to 5K a day. Now we've gotten to 10 to 12K a day over the last sort of 2 months. And a big reason for that, and not only a big reason for scaling, but also a big reason for us doing that and increasing our profit margins at a double volume of ad spend, which is unheard of, is because of our referral system that we now have in the back end for all of our offers. And in this training, I'm going to break down some of the stuff that's been working really, really well for us internally on the referral front over the last couple of months. This will be an ever changing and dynamic video, because over time we're testing a lot more, and we're always doing new things, trying new ways of perfecting the system, getting more conversion, all that type of stuff. But what I'm about to go through here is what has worked tremendously well for us up until this point. So with that being said, let's jump into it. There's two types of referrals that you can do. Okay, so you've got new clients, getting referrals from new clients, and then you've also got getting referrals from existing clients. Now, I want to make this distinction because most people don't realize that you can actually get referrals from new clients even before they've gotten any results from you. So let's jump into it. Now, the easiest way, hands down, that we found to get referrals is to set the expectation before they come on board as a client that you'll request they introduce you to 3 friends. So before they even become a client, you set the expectation clear of, hey, if you I'll show you how we do it here, but it's basically telling them upfront, like, hey, I'm going to request for you to send us 3 friends once you become a client. So then on the back end, when you actually ask them, they expected it, right? That increases the referral rate significantly. Now, when dropping your price, how we found it works really, really well, and it kind of increases close rate as well, which is kind of interesting. But when dropping your price, you can offer a slight discount. And by the way, you just jack up the price and then discount down to the price you want to charge anyway. So you're not actually doing it for cheaper. But you would, if they didn't want to refer you, you would charge the higher amount, right? So you'd actually get an extra whatever you would do. In this case, we do 4K, but you get whatever it is if they didn't want to refer, or if they do agree to refer, then they actually get the discount, right? So it is a real discount, but you would just go higher. You wouldn't actually go lower. You wouldn't discount from the price you want to charge. Hopefully that makes sense. So as I say, you can offer a slight discount if the client agrees to send you 3 referrals. How we do this is we basically say, awesome. So the investment to get you to insert desired outcome is usually 24K. Now, this is not actually our price. So I don't think this is for us. Just as an example, is usually 24K. But if you can refer us 3 other, in our case, we would say 3 other agencies or coaches. You would just say whoever your ideal client is. If you can refer us 3 other agencies or coaches, then we can do it for just 20K for 4 months. Now, obviously, if you haven't seen the training where we go through like why we charge 20K up front, not a 5K a month retainer, for example, or a 2K a month retainer, we would charge 8K for 4 months. Watch that other training. But you can see the discount, 24 to 20, if you agree to send us 3 other agencies or coaches who could potentially benefit from, also scaling past 100K a month with their business. Cool? Great. Awesome. So now you can see this way, you're giving the prospect a huge incentive. So as I say, this actually helps close rate, which is interesting. But you're giving them a huge incentive to send you referrals before, this is the key, before they become a client. And you are getting an agreement. In other words, they buy into the idea of sending you their friends. This works every single time when they truly agree to it. It's like, yep, I'm happy to do that, no problem. They'll send you the 3 friends every single time, at least based on our experience. Now, furthermore, because you gave them a discount, when they agree to send you referrals, this is kind of like a side benefit that also just, again, increases the referral rate, is they now feel indebted to you because they feel like they've taken something from you, so they need to give back to you. And so when this obviously naturally increases the likelihood of them actually sending you the people when you ask. It's like, hey, I know you came in for the 4K discount because you agreed to send us 3 friends. Did you have those names? That's all you need to say. And they'll every single time give you the names. Again, 100% of the time we've done this, it's worked. Now, on actually collecting the 3 referrals, there's basically 2 ways to go about this. So number 1, you can just reach out the moment they have their first impactful win with you, right? So you've set the expectation, and then the moment they have their first impactful win with you, you want to basically identify whatever that moment is within your client journey where they basically have an epiphany, right? Where they think, oh my gosh, holy shit, this works. This is amazing. This is the best thing ever, right? Where they have that epiphany. And in every good client journey, your client should have an epiphany. I'm sure you had this feeling when you first started your agency or coaching business and made your first sale, right? Remember that initial rush that you got? Remember that feeling? Like, it's hard to explain until you experience it, right? But again, every good client journey should have that. And so what you want to do is you want to catch your clients at that moment, right as they have that epiphany, like, oh my gosh, this is amazing, whatever, and ask them for the 3 referrals at that point. That is going to, look, in my opinion, you can ask them at any point, and they'll give it to you, provided you do this well, right? Provided you actually say this and they actually agree and whatever else. But if you just want to take it to a whole new level, catch them in that epiphany moment, and they'll do anything you ask them to, like every single time. So as I say, for your offer, this may be when obviously it depends on your offer, right? But when they close their first client, right? Or when they book their first appointment without speaking to the lead beforehand. Like, I know for us, an early epiphany, it's a small one, but like an early epiphany for our clients is when they get their first booked call from ads that's qualified, that shows up, and that closes. And like, it was all from ads, and they, maybe collected $5K in cash and they only paid $500 to acquire that new client. They're like, oh my gosh. It just gives, like, you see in clients' eyes, at least again in our case, they just have this like realization of, I can see how I'm going to be able to scale my company. If they're at like 20K a month, they got there through, referrals only or whatever, and they want to get to 100, but obviously referrals aren't scalable, which I'm going to get into that as well in this training. When they close their first client, maybe collect, as I say, 5K cash, and they paid $500 on, our team who's running their ads spent $500, and they just collected 5K cash, and 10x their money. They're like, they can see the path to 100K a month, and they have this epiphany. And so that is where we try and catch them and ask them for the referrals. Works every time again. Again, for your offer though, maybe it's when they lose their first 5 kilos, or they close a certain amount of sales, or they make their first 1K online. Whatever it is for you, identify it. And then what you want to do, as I'm going to show you here in a minute, you want to bake it into your client journey so that referrals become consistent. Again, I'm going to go through that. That's super important that you do. And so for every business, it will be different, but you want to find yours, where yours is, when yours is, and create a system around collecting referrals at that moment within each of your clients' journey. Now, again, in terms of creating the system, that is hugely important to making this a scalable referral system, but I'm going to go through more in that. I'm going to go through that more in depth in a minute, because that's super important as well. Now, remember, since this was part of the sale, the client expects you to ask them for referrals. So all you need to say, like, you don't need to overthink this. You don't need some crazy script or whatever. Just literally ask them for the referral. Like, they expect it. It was a stipulation of the sale. So all you need to say is, hey, it's awesome to see XYZ result. Quick question. Did you have those 3 names? That's it. Just do it, right? Don't overthink it or anything like that. Just be natural and assume the close, right? You've probably heard that from, I don't know who created it, but the assumption close, I think it's called. But here you just want to basically assume they're going to send you the referrals. Hey, remember those 3 names? Could you send me them through now? That's it. And they'll send you them through. That's it, nice and easy. Now, as a side note, this typically, based on the epiphany stuff, that works a lot better for B2B and agency offers. B2B offers and agency services, that I should say, right? This first way of collecting the referrals. Now, the second option is better for B2C and coaching offers from my experience, which is basically where you want to ask immediately on the call / right after they close. So you still want to do the same price drop, based on referring three friends. However, the way you position it is slightly different. So instead of saying, if you refer 3 friends, we can drop the price by XYZ, you would position it as, look, we normally charge 15K. But one of the things, we did this like big internal tracking push last month. And one of the things we found is our clients and students, whatever you refer to them as, our clients who complete the program name with at least one other person, on average, we found they get XYZ better results. They make an extra 10K a month, or they lose an extra 5 kilos over everybody, whatever it is, right? They get XYZ better results than those who go at it alone. So with that said, if you can refer 3 friends who you'd like to do this with, then I can drop the price from 15K down to 10K. Right? So you see how I've positioned it there. Now, the reason this works obviously better for B2C is because B2B, like, they would know that that's BS. They would call that out, because it's like, if it's a B2B done for you service, they don't need a friend to come and do this with them, right? That's not going to help them. But with B2C, it makes a ton of sense, because now they've got an accountability buddy, that can go at it together. They're going to be more likely to stick it out. They're going to be more likely to probably, if it's some kind of like, for example, a training offer, like a fitness offer, they're going to train harder, all that type of stuff, right? So it does make a ton of sense for B2C. Now, this way, instead of collecting the referrals once the client achieves their first win, you would collect them up front, as it's positioned as, let me know who they are so I can get them started with you alongside you so that you get better results, right? So you collect these up front. So it's like, hey, if you can refer these 3 friends to me, then we can do 15K and we can drop that down to 10K. And then if they go, oh yeah, 100%, I know those people, great, let's do 10K. And then as you're like kind of collecting payments, like, oh, by the way, could you, and as I'm going to go into here, create a 3-way group with each one of those 3 people that you've got in your mind so that we can get them started with you right now. Right? And you assume that they're going to create that, right? Now, receiving the referrals, the easiest way to get the referrals information and reach out to them is to get your clients to make a 3-way group chat with themselves, or your closer, obviously, if it's, if it's like, if we get a referral, our clients don't make a group chat with me, they do it with themselves, a sales rep, typically it's our sales manager, and then obviously the referral itself, not the referral. Because the referrer is the person making the group chat, right? And basically the thing there is, obviously you probably heard about this before, the whole thing of transferring trust, right? That's what happens in that 3-way group chat. Now, once they've transferred the trust, the referrer has transferred the trust to the referral. You want to then set up a call with the referral and close the deal. Just like any normal client, the only difference is this time, it's obviously significantly easier to close a referral than it is a cold lead. Now, that is the best way that I've found for new clients specifically to increase your referral rate. Now, I want to go through existing clients, then I'm going to get into the system that you want to create around collecting these referrals, because again, arguably in my opinion, that's the most important thing. So existing clients, with any new client, you can just make them send you referrals as part of the, almost like a stipulation of the sale, for lack of better words, as we just discussed. Now, whereas with existing clients who didn't join based on your new sales process, because like this, you can only obviously roll out for new clients, right? Moving forward. But you probably got, 20, 100, 5, 50, however many current clients that you could also really, really use to get a ton of referrals from right now, but you won't be able to use this process, right? That's only for new clients. So with existing who didn't join based on that process, you can't rely on that expectation. So we need to incentivize them in another way. Notice how with these new clients, because you made it part of the sale, you don't need to typically, I mean, you could actually, thinking about it, you could, and this is why I'm saying, like, we're kind of still working this out. One of the things you could test is actually adding an incentive to this as well. But you've kind of already done that in this price drop. You see how you've already gone from 24K down to 20, or 10 down to 6, or whatever your numbers are. You've kind of like embedded the incentive into it without actually kind of paying out of pocket for the incentive, because this is probably what you want to charge anyway. And then if they didn't want to, you would just charge them an extra 4K, which is just a bonus, right? But you're not actually digging in your pocket to pay them. Whereas existing clients, typically you do. So, you need to incentivize them in another way. So what I found here to work best is to create an offer in the exact same way that we do for new front-end clients, in terms of, your guarantee offer that you have on your ads. Create a similar offer, but for referrals specifically. In other words, I create, to use Hormozi, a stupidly irresistible offer to incentivize existing clients to send us new business. I've never heard anyone talk about this before, and we do it, and it, again, works extremely well. So very few clients will refer you new business off their own back. You've probably found this. And maybe they do, and it does happen, but personally, I like to think in my mind, I'm not gonna get any referrals. Now, when we do, that's a bonus, right? But if you think that you're not, then you're gonna have to create these systems to actually generate the referral, which is what you wanna do. You don't wanna rely, too many people hope that their clients send them referrals. And maybe they do, but it's one every quarter, and it's that's nothing, right? You wanna instead build a system into generating the referral. So here, I'm gonna and part of that system is generating what we call a referral offer. Now, here we'll cover 2 referral offers. One is more focused for agency service done for you businesses, B2B, and another is more coaching done with you based businesses. So that for the agency service or done for you based business, what I've found here to work best is really just to incentivize them through money. It's kind of basic, but this is, we've tested a couple different ones. This is what I found lands on top in terms of performance as it pertains to agency services, is just basically pay them a lot, right, to refer you new business and sweeten with the bonuses. So given the nature of this model, it's hard to incentivize with much else, unlike coaching and done with you offers, which I'll get onto in a minute. Now, the key here is to ensure that the amount you incentivize with is meaningful, almost crazy, and that you give them incentives, you give the incentives to both the referrer and the referral. This is pretty common, but the big thing here is that whatever you pay them, for the most part, it's a good amount, it's a meaningful amount, right? Here's how I think about this. So whatever a great CPA is on Facebook, what I do is I take that number and I split it in 2, right? Half for the referrer and half for the referral. For example, with our offer, I'm happy to pay 3K CPA on our ads. I'm happy to do that. But a great CPA for us is 2K. That's a really good CPA for us, right? Really, really good. So what I've done is I've taken that 2K and I said to our clients that I'll pay you 1K USD per new referral, and we'll pay the referrer, per new referral, and we'll pay the person that you refer to us also 1K. So you get 1K and the person you send to us also gets 1K. That way, the person who brings the new person in is able to go to that new person and say, hey, I've got an opportunity here for you to not only get big benefit, but also you're gonna make an extra $1,000 cash just by joining, right? So they've got an offer to take to the person to get them in, right? Now, to sweeten it, I'll also bake in additional bonuses, which are only accessible if the client refers someone. This is key. Make these bonuses only accessible if they refer one. You can set whatever the number is, but you could do 1 person or you could do 3, it's typical, but you get the point. If they refer 1 person or 3 or more people, that is the only way they can get access to these bonuses. Now, obviously, you've got to make the bonuses super desirable so that then they go ahead and refer you a ton of business to get access to the bonus because they really, really want it, right? Now, also, obviously, on top of that, the person who gets referred is also able to get access to the bonuses as well. Now, the bonuses could include, exclusive trainings and content, exclusive access. So for example, if, you aren't as involved in your fulfillment like me with our, high-end clients, some of our higher-end clients I'm very involved with, but for our core client, scale clients, client base, it's our account managers who run that. But what we could do is do an exclusive access weekly call with just me on our, for our clients who refer at least 3 or more people, as an example, right? So it's exclusive access. You could do events. You could do services or a free trial of an additional service or deliverable. This one is probably my favorite, and it's the one that works the best, in my opinion. Now, again, remember, this is only for if you have an agency, service, or done for you based business. So depending on the economics of a particular service that you offer, you could remove the monetary incentive from the above and treat the service's COGS, cost of goods sold, as the CPA for the referrals. So I don't explain it here. I'll get into this in a minute, but remember here how I said about, you could pay them, if a good CPA is 2K, you could take that, split it, and then give 1K. Well, instead of paying them the cash, you could instead just wipe that. And if you have, like I say here, we have a super advanced AI sales agent that we install for our high-end scale clients, our scale clients. And if that, say, for example, costs us $1,000 a month to operate, it doesn't, it's a lot more than that. But if it was $1,000 a month to operate, we could offer, for example, the offer to get referrals could be trial our new AI sales agent that does super beneficial things, super desired, or that could produce super desired outcomes for free for 1 month if you refer at least 3 agencies or coaches who could benefit from working with ScaleClients.io. So you see how this is super attractive, provided that they actually want the thing that you're offering a free trial on, and provided obviously that can produce super desired results. Well, if it costs you $1,000 a month to, per client to actually deliver it, the COGS, the cost of goods sold, if the COGS are $1,000 a month, just offer a free trial on it. To the client, that's all like, oh my gosh, like that's amazing. And for you, you're paying $1,000 a month. Like your CPA there would be $1,000 a month. $1,000 to acquire a new client. Like, I mean, for us, if I could get a $1,000 CPA, like, just that would be ridiculous, right? So you can see how structuring the offer, quote unquote, in that way can really increase the volume of referrals without you really needing to pay a ton, basically. And so this one works the best. Now, I will say, again, I don't think, as I said here, this would crush only if, this is the key, the service itself is extremely desirable to the client. That's the big thing here. So you could do any one of these, but if the thing you're actually offering isn't desirable, well, it's not going to work. Even if you offer a free trial, like you do this here, well, if the thing you're actually offering as a free trial or the training that you're offering or whatever it is isn't desirable, nobody wants it, nobody's going to do it, right? That's the key. Like you got to be offering something that's actually super desirable. And again, like I said above, wherever, almost crazy. It's like almost ridiculous for you to offer that. If you do it that way, you're going to get a ton of referrals, guaranteed, right? Now, as I said here, a ton of clients would take us up on that offer, and we would be essentially be paying, as I say, $1K to acquire a new client, which for us is just ridiculously, extremely profitable. This would be even more powerful if you obviously add an extra $1K to the person getting referred, like I mentioned above. Now you could do, something else based on this. If you was to run some kind of framework like this, you could go, for every new referral, you get 1 month free of the AI sales agent or of whatever the service is. So if you refer 5 people, you'll get 5 months free. That could also be extremely good, because then even in that case, it's going to be 1K per person that you're paying. It's just spread out over 5 months. Super, super sexy. Now, obviously, you could do any one of these, or you could do anything else that your clients would find extremely valuable. That's the key here. Now, as I said here, the key to making this work is to try and make the bonuses something they would pay real money for, and a lot of it. Because if they would be willing to pay real money for it, and then you offer them a way to, you basically say, hey, you cannot buy this, but if it's something they would actually pay, if you said, hey, it's 5K, or hey, this is 10K, would they buy it or not? If the answer to that is yes, well then put a stipulation in place to where they can't pay me 100K. I'm not giving you this, right? Make that very clear. The only way you can you can get access to this is if you refer 3 friends. If you have an offer like that, you'll get infinite referrals. I promise you that. And again, you could say, if you refer 5 friends or 3 friends or 1, but you can put a volume on it to where it's like, if you refer me 1, amazing, but you've got to hit 3 to be able to unlock almost this bonus or this service or this access or whatever it is. That's the big thing there. Now, the idea, by the way, just a PS, the idea of giving away something free that clients will pay a lot of money for in exchange for something of zero cost also applies to getting reviews. So we did this in our LTO, and we've had almost 200 people, it's actually way more than that now, I'll show you, but we've had almost 200 people give us a review, and we get roughly 5 to 10 new reviews per day, even though I posted this a month ago. So in our low ticket group, you can see here that I don't know when I made this doc, it was like maybe a month ago, there was 192 comments on this post, but if I actually pull this up now, you'll see that now there's 377 comments on this post, and this is basically the same exact idea. I say, get our 400K per month fulfillment process for $0. If you've gotten any value from this group and are willing to give us a review, then I have something for you. I want to give you access to an 18-module course that breaks down our entire account manager fulfillment model, which does over 400K a month in profit. Comment below for immediate access. It will cost you $0 and a short written review of this group. You cannot buy this content anywhere else. Here's the benefits that you get. Here's exactly what you get. If you'd like full access for $0, all it will cost is a short written review. Please comment below. Everyone comments below. We DM them the review link. We get review. We give them access. You see how there, though, I'm saying you cannot buy this. Like, pay me whatever you want. You can't buy it. You've got to leave us a review. That's the only way you're going to get access. And again, the thing I'm actually selling, quote unquote, the 400K per month client fulfillment process, this is what this entire group really wants. Like, they really want access to this. That's why this works so well. You can see the last comment here was 8 hours ago. I posted this May 5. It's currently July 3rd. So what's that, like 2 months? Yeah, exactly 2 months, almost to the day. And we still get, if I scroll down to the bottom here, you can see here, 9 hours ago, 14 hours ago, 22 hours ago, 23 hours ago, a day ago, a day, 2 days, 2 days, 2 days. Like, we get, as I said on the thing, 5 to 10 reviews a day. I posted this 2 months ago, and so you can apply this same idea of like, hey, we'll give you this super valuable thing if you refer us. You can apply that same idea to reviews as well. Now, the general offer framework I use here is basically, if you've gotten any value, I just kind of showed you, right? But if you've gotten any value and know 3 friends who could benefit, then, if you refer them, I will send you X amount if you're doing a monetary amount. And again, I recommend to do the monetary amount for agency service done for you based businesses, because your profit margin is usually a lot more in those businesses. So you have more cash to be able to actually, pay a sexy amount. With the low ticket group, for example, we charge $27 a month. It's very hard we still do offer a monetary incentive, but it's hard to like say, hey, I'll pay you $1,000. It's like, we're just not going to do that, right? The economics don't make sense. Whereas obviously for agencies, and done for you based service businesses, it does. I'll get onto how I would change that for coaching based businesses here in a minute. But for now, this is the general template if you're going to do it in a public way. If you're not, and you're just going to do it one-on-one, like if you have a one-on-one service, like our backend, for example, it's an account manager based model. And they, reach out to clients, to speak to clients one-on-one. You're not obviously going to use this. You would just ask them directly. But if it's a bit more of a public thing, or maybe you set up an email sequence, which I'll get into here in a minute, this is how I'd structure it. If you've gotten any value from X and know 3 friends who could benefit with, benefit 1, 2, 3, then if you refer us, X, Y, XYZ people, 3 people, 5 people, whatever, I will send you X amount and give you instant access to, super valuable thing, which you cannot find anywhere else on the internet. Here's exactly what you're going to get, benefit 1, 2, 3. And again, the only way to get access and get paid X amount is if you're able to refer us 3 friends. And we'll even pay whoever you refer also X amount as a signing bonus on top. Now, obviously, that's a general framework, but the format will change depending on the channel in which you're sending that. So that's how, as I said up here, that's how I would generate referrals from existing clients if you have an agency done for you or service-based business. If you have a coaching-based business, it's kind of the same, but a little different. When I say a little different, there's one key difference that I found with coaching-based businesses is like really profound, which is basically everything I explained in point 1 still holds true for coaching-based businesses. But the one key difference I found is the incentives are completely reversed in terms of desirability. And I've seen this firsthand with our offers. What they want is exclusive access for the most part over money. And I've put this, I've really thought about this because with the coaching side, I found exclusive access like you just seen there. This is basically exclusive access, right? Like get access to our XYZ, exclusive access. Nobody else has access to this outside of the people who have left us a review. So, and again, you can see the response. It's ridiculous, So I've found that getting access far exceeds in terms of, again, a volume of response on coaching offers than money. And I was really thinking about why that is the case, because for our agency, the $1,000 referral fee crushes it. Like I was just saying there, right? That crushes it. But I've tried hey, I've got this like new training or whatever, but like it didn't really, no one really cared, to be honest, in our done for you with our done for you clients. And so I put this down. I was, again, been thinking about why that's the case. And I've put it down to the type of client who buys coaching versus done for you. So done for you clients just want something done. That's their, like, they just pay money, get something done, right? They typically don't care how it's done, who does it, or how it works. They just want to pay money and for the thing to be done without really too much input from them. And also, in general, they can be lazier, which is obviously it's not a bad thing. It's actually a great thing because now that, people naturally are lazy, and so you can create a business out of that. Our done for you People don't want to run their own ads. It's too finicky, it's too messy, it's too difficult, too complex, especially at scale. So they just want to be able to pay somebody, not have to worry about it, and it's done, right? So they have no desire to consume content. So if you try and incentivize this type of client with exclusive content or events or, exclusive whatever, to them, I found that can sound worse than just not getting it. Like if you put something else on their plate of like, hey, you got to go through this super valuable training, that's something else on their plate that they now need to do in their mind. And so that's a negative for them. What they would rather is just not have that thing, right? So it's almost like they're better off not referring you, But the complete inverse is true for coaching and done with you clients. People who buy these offers are the type who want to learn new things. That's why they bought the coaching offer in the first place, right? They want to learn new things. They like new content and they're actively looking to consume more information. There's somebody, this is exactly how I am. I always consume. I'm in that consumption mindset. Some people aren't. And so if you give them something to consume, they're going to kind of like push back on it. Whereas if you give someone like me something to consume, I'm going to consume it. You know what I mean? And again, people who buy coaching and done with you products are generally the type of person who is somebody who consumes versus just wants it done, doesn't care how it's done. They want to know how it's done. So you give them that info, right? Now, hence, these clients are the ones that you want to incentivize with exclusive training, mastermind, or coaching calls, etc. Again, only if they, refer 3 friends or if they leave a review. The reason why I lean on that for the coaching is because it's way more profitable. You don't have to pay any money. You just create something of super, super high value, and then you use that as the thing that's going to get them to leave a review or refer 3 friends or whatever it is. You don't have to pay anything, right? Whereas obviously with the done for you type businesses, agency services, etc., you have to pay them $1,000 or whatever it is, something desired that they desire, which for them is money. These guys, you can just create something for free. I paid $0 to these 377 people who left us a review. I just gave them access to this super valuable content, right? Obviously, if you want to give access to content and pay, I mean, that's just like, what I'm not saying here is coaching clients don't like money. Of course, you can incentivize them with money, but you can also get almost the same conversion without the money and just have the content, right? Or the access or the events or the weekly group mastermind call or whatever it is, right? And so, yeah, the huge selling point I always use here is content, access, whatever, cannot be bought anywhere else on the internet and is only accessible if you refer 3 or more friends. In other words, positioning, or it positions the valuable thing as something that money cannot buy. This forces them to do the thing that you want if they want the content and access bad enough, which is also why you need to make it valuable enough that you could sell it if you wanted to, and your clients would buy it if you put a price on it. But you're not. The price is you got to leave a review or refer 3 friends or whatever it is. And so I just showed you this example I did in the LTO. You can see when I took the screenshot, it's like 192. Now, obviously, as I say, it's consistently getting more comments every single day. We're at 377. If you check this in a couple of months' time, it's probably 1,000 plus, right? And here's an example of how I use the same structure, but for referrals. I'm not going to read through this. This training is already long enough, but you can pause this. The link to this document actually will be below the video, so you can check this out. But I basically did the exact same idea, just based on referrals. And you can see so far, this one has gotten 81 comments. So that's 81 people who have signed up to become a referral for this low ticket group. Pretty, especially when you consider the fact that this post hasn't been up as long. And again, this consistently probably gets maybe 3 to 5 new comments per day, every single day, So again, over time, that's just going to build up and build up as we funnel new customers. And again, this is the key here as well, funneling new customers, new people into the system with ads. Then they see this, then they become a person who leaves a review, or they become a person who refers based on these pinned posts in our coaching group, right? And it's the same idea for your agency service. All right, so independent of new or existing clients, there is a stigma around referrals in that they are not consistent. Or that they are inconsistent, I should say. And I will tell you right now, they are not inconsistent. It's the problem, as I say right here, for most people, referrals aren't consistent is because they aren't consistent. And this is the biggest thing that honestly, I believed for the longest time, like I was telling you at the start of the video, I thought, referrals, like they don't scale, they're not consistent, whatever else. So I'm just, again, not gonna do it. I'm just gonna go all in on ads. That was my mindset. I realized that was a mistake. Now we go all in on referrals as well as going all in on ads. But the key is that we are now consistent with our referrals, which, believe it or not, makes the referrals consistent. The problem, if anyone tells you referrals are inconsistent, they're not. They're inconsistent. And I'll tell you why in a minute. They can be extremely consistent if you have the right system. This is like the big thing. You gotta put a system in place to collect referrals. What normally happens is one day, right, somebody, a business owner, will have a surge of energy to get referrals. So they'll hit up their clients and maybe they'll close one or two, or maybe they don't close any because at the point in which they hit up the client, nobody wanted to refer. So then they go, oh, that didn't work. Or maybe on the flip side, they sign one or two people, whatever it is, right? But the problem is they then stop and then they'll get zero referrals for the next 60 days or 30 days or whatever until they ask again. Then they stop and then so on and so forth. And then they default to referrals aren't consistent when in reality, they just weren't consistent. Or worse yet, they don't even ask ever, and they just wait or hope a client magically sends them their friends. Now, again, this will happen for sure. But the problem is some months they do and others they won't, right? Again, that causes it to be inconsistent. So instead, what we've done is we've now created a predictable referral process similar to a predictable client acquisition process, right? Most people realize if their client acquisition isn't consistent, they realize it's because, I don't have a system that allows me to produce clients consistently. So they go and try and build the system. But when it comes to referrals, they don't think like that. They don't think, I don't have a predictable referral system. They just think, referrals aren't consistent. But that's kind of like saying, getting clients isn't consistent, so I'm just not going to sign clients. It's like, what? No, like, you know what I mean? Like no one thinks that, but they think that with referrals. So in other words, what we do is we create a we create a consistent system around getting referrals, whether it's for our low ticket offer or our main offer. This is how we consistently sign and generate more referrals each month than churn customers or clients, which in other words means that if we stopped running ads, we would continue to grow every single month forever because the clients who leave us each month, we sign more clients from referrals than we have clients who leave us each month, which means each month we're just going to grow and grow and grow forever, right? The problem is that growth is slow because obviously it's based on your current client base. Whereas if you add ads on top of that, that's where it just basically adds, no pun intended, it adds fuel to the fire. So that's where you can grow exponentially quick. Whereas if you was to rely on referrals, it will be a, slow burn. You will be growing every month, but it would be very, very slow. You add ads into that, it exponentially grows, right? With the referral system in place. So some of the ways that I found to make getting referrals consistent are, number one, again, like I mentioned before, the first big win or breakthrough a client has with us, our account managers, this is in our back end offer, our account managers congratulate them and immediately ask for 2 to 3 friends. So couple things here on this. The reason why we only focus on building a system or process around getting the first referral or the first set of referrals, if it's more than one, we build a system around getting that first one. And we're very, very all in on getting that first one. And the reason why we're so focused on the first one is that we've found from experience that in our experience, we found once a client refers someone once and receives the super valuable referral offer that you have to get them to refer, right? They almost get into a routine of continuing to send people your way. This is particularly true if you have some kind of payout process per new referral who signs up with you, even more so, obviously, if it's more than 1K, right? And again, I've really thought about this because we've seen this black and white objective. It's just damn, if someone refers, they are exponentially more likely to send us another referral than if nobody has referred in the first place, right? So again, that's why we're so big on trying to get that first referral through, not only because it then will double that client lifetime value, but also because they're so much more likely to send in the future. And again, I've been thinking about why is that the case? And I think it's because they see how easy it is to make a bit of cash. Again, if there's a sizable payout per referral and they get paid it and it goes into their bank account and they see damn, I just made $1,000 for sending somebody their way. Fuck, let me go and see other people that I can send their way, and they just send more, right? Because they get the feeling of the bonus. And also, obviously, if it's, again, access or whatever, they get access to the content, like, oh my God, this is so crazily valuable, whatever. They get a taste of what it's like to get the bonus. They want more of it, right? So they send you more. And more importantly, though, when they get praise, more importantly, they also get praise and thanks from their friend who they referred about how amazing you are as a company, right? And so what they want more of as well is they want more of that. They want that feeling of praise and thanks, and they're looked up to by that person that they referred, right? There's a whole thing of like, if you watch a really good movie or something, or read a really good book, and then you refer that book or movie to a friend, the friend will look at you as the person, they'll give you the credit, and they'll look at you as like, oh yeah, Kai referred me that. So you get the credit, right? And so that's also what happens here when they refer a client to you or something like that, and the client or the customer or whatever gets really good results. That customer then thanks you as the referrer, and so they just want more of that praise within their like social circle. That's what I'm putting it down to, at least anyway. And the same goes for obviously content and or exclusive access. When they see how valuable that is, they want more. I get probably 5 to 10 people a week message me saying, have you got any more content? Can I do anything else for you to get access to more content? Do you have any more trainings? Can you do more of this? They want more, right? So again, if I just say, hey, yes, refer me another 3 friends, I'll send you XYZ. They're going to go out and refer me more friends, right? Also, by the way, this doesn't necessarily mean, obviously I'm focusing here on like, again, building the system around getting the first referral. But this doesn't mean that we never ask again, obviously, after the first referral. More so that we really build, we only build, I should say, getting the first referral into the client journey. Meaning, okay, step 1 is this, step 2 is that, step 3 is refer, step 4, you know what I mean? It's part of the process which generates that consistency. And we really build getting the first referral into the process, whereas the others, like, referral 4, 5, 6, 7, we don't really build that into the process. We of course ask, like I'm saying here, but the rest are more like ad hoc and incentivized via the account manager wanting to be compensated more and be ranked number 1 based on the account manager team, which I'm going to get onto here in a minute as well, in terms of something else you can do to generate consistency. But that's really important. Getting the first referral built into the process, because once you've got that, it's almost like if you've ever read the copywriting book, The Ad Week by Joseph Sugarman. It's a great book. I don't know why this example came to mind, but in that book, he talks about your ad copy should always create like a slippery slide. Like that's the analogy he uses for like really good copy. It's like once you get onto, and if you think of like a metal slide with oil, once you get on that fucking thing, like you're not getting off, right? You're sliding down all the way to the bottom. That's how your ad copy should be. Once somebody starts reading it, you shouldn't be able to stop reading it. It's kind of like the referrals, to where once you get them the first referral, you just get an avalanche of more referrals from them. But getting the first referral is like the hardest week. Getting them on the slide is the hardest. But once you're on the slide, you're going to get a ton more, right? I don't know why I came up with that example, but there you go. Also, just here, when I say that our account managers congratulate them and immediately ask them for 2 to 3 friends based on their first big win or breakthrough. When I say ask, I mean they present the offer that I was talking about above. They present our referral offer and ask if they know anyone who would be interested. That's what I mean when I say ask, just if you're wondering. Now, this is built into our client journey so it doesn't get missed, which means we don't not get referrals. It's a part of our process. It's kind of like when you wake up, your routine is to brush your teeth. You don't need to think about it or plan it. You just do it. And then over time you realize, oh, I've never missed a day without brushing my teeth. Why? Because it's a part of your routine. It's a part of your process, right? As a more relevant example, it's similar to client, if you run an agency, it's similar to client check-in calls. So if you run a coaching offer and you have weekly group coaching calls, most people just do them and they don't even think about it, right? It's because for me, every Friday morning, I have a group coaching call. It's just what I do. It's just a part of my weekly routine. Well, it's the same thing with referrals. We built that same hygiene standard for getting referrals. This also builds a competitive culture on your account manager team as to who can get the most referrals each and every month. So similar to closers and, like with their cash collected and deals closed, if you have a sales team, you'll know what I mean. There's always a bit of a competitive culture on your sales team as to who's number one, who's the best closer, right? Based on cash collected, deals closed. Well, we track referrals per account manager publicly on our fulfillment team meetings. So everyone on the team can see how they're pacing. And if they want to win this month, how many more referrals they need to get as an account manager from their client base. Now you can also, to incentivize account managers even more than just the public recognition, which is a huge driver, by the way, of like anyone on your team, don't always feel like you need to compensate them. If you want to incentivize them, don't feel like you need to compensate with money, because public recognition is just as powerful a driver of increase in performance on whatever it is as money is, particularly on your sales team. Closers are very, very driven by recognition. Just a side note, so are account managers. So if you just build a really tight culture on your account manager team of like, damn, like X account manager got 10 referrals this month, whereas damn, you was first last month, now you're only at 7. That person who's at 7 this month is going to do everything they can next month to beat the number one guy at 10. And again, you don't need to incentivize them there. That's just purely recognition, ego, whatever you want to call it. That's what happens. But on top of that, you can also compensate your account managers as well, similar again to a closer, but for referrals. Because at the end of the day, the account manager, if you have a high touch point product or service, the account manager is the reason the client will refer, right? And so, in my opinion, like if anyone's going to get compensated for that deal, it should be the account manager, not anyone else, basically, because the account manager is the reason that client referred, and the reason the company received that referral that month is because of that account manager. So that account manager should get paid out for that, right? And so compensating naturally incentivizes the account managers to and builds it into your client journey. And it's a great way for your account managers as well to bump their income each month without doing anything extra other than asking the client for some friends. And it's also how you can have your account managers make quite a bit and it actually make a ton of sense on your P&L. Or in other words, it's a way for them to make more each month without dipping into your profits, because the way they made that extra 5K that month, it's like 5K for an account manager on top of their existing pay is a lot. You know what I mean? But for you as a company, you're not dipping into your pocket or into profits that month to pay them that extra 5K because it came from new closes. Does that make sense? So it's a really easy way to bump account manager pay without hurting your margins. Now, if you're wondering on the specific comp, you could do this 101 ways. It doesn't have to be, I've put 300 to 500 here. You could do 1,000, you could do 2,000, you could do 50. It completely depends on your offer economics, your client lifetime value, and your offer economics. In other words, pricing, right? If you're charging 10K, you can, give them a huge increase in pay versus if it was only, a $500 product or whatever, right? But yeah, again, I would take the great CPA. If you want a rough framework, I would take the great CPA number that we just discussed above minus 300 to 500, depending on your price point. Give that 300 to 500 to the account manager or $1,000 to the account manager, and then you would split the rest, the remaining amount based on the great CPA. You would split that between the referral and the referral. Hopefully that makes sense. Now, what ends up happening here is basically, if you can make it, and stick with me here, I don't think I wrote this very clearly, but just stick with me. If you can make it a no-brainer for your account manager to want to get more referrals selfishly, because they'll make more money, right? Well, they're going to be incentivized, obviously, to send you more referrals, right? Outside of the public recognition, as we just talked about. If you can make it a no-brainer for your account manager, they do that by offering their clients a no-brainer to send a referral or 3, right? That they'd be stupid to turn down, meaning that referral offer. So the account manager makes more money selfishly. So they're incentivized to do whatever it is because they're going to make more money. Now, the way they make more money is by sending a stupidly irresistible offer to your clients, right? That they can't really say no to, again, to use Hormozi. They can't really say no to that offer. And then that offer also how the client gets the benefit of that offer is by referring one of their friends that also has a no-brainer offer built in, because their friend also receives the bonuses I talked about before. And you can do it for an extremely profitable price, right? Based on, again, the great CPA or even cheaper, depending on how you structure it. guess what happens based on that? It's like a like the account manager is incentivized. The way that they get the result is by making the client super incentivized because of like whatever your offer is. The way they get the thing that they want is by incentivizing the new person. That new person becomes a client. The account manager gets compensated. Your client does, and the new person that you just signed, the new client, is also getting all the benefits as well. You can see how that system, again, the system behind that, naturally is going to produce you a ton of referrals really, really consistently, right? As I say here, you end up with a lot of new profitable clients, and you have more referrals than clients churning each month, which means you'll grow forever without any ad spend, like I spoke about before. Now, hopefully that made sense. I know that's a little confusing, but you get the point. On the flip side, so this is purely based on if you have a high touch one-on-one service-based model, right? On the flip side, if you have a higher volume offer without an account manager model as intense as ours, here's a few things that we've done in our LTO that doesn't have obviously any account managers or one-on-ones that have also performed extremely well. Now, number one is a pin post with a comment CTA. So if you have a higher volume offer, you most likely have a community with all of your members and customers inside of that community, wherever it's hosted, right? I highly recommend School. I love it. But wherever your community's hosted, you'll have a centralized spot with all of your customers. And if you don't, for whatever reason, you should. But most people, if you have a higher volume type offer like that, I'm sure you will. Even if you don't have a higher volume offer, you probably still have some kind of community. In that community, as I say, pin a post with a comment CTA. As I say here, make a really good, a post with really good copy. And again, you can see our examples up here. These two here. Make a post with that type of level of copy, and then pin it to the feed. It's so simple, but it gets consistent eyeballs every day from new and old customers, which generates new referrals every single day. The other thing I'll say is I would highly recommend to make the CTA a comment here, like comment below to get access kind of thing. You see how here, I say, if you'd like full access for $0, all it will cost is a short written review, comment below. The reason I say that is because social proof is huge. If I said DM me, a ton of people would see this. They would probably still DM, like a ton of people would DM me, but nobody else sees that a lot of other people are getting access to this. But when a new customer now comes into this group, they see, damn, this post has 377 comments. They read it and they're like, oh my God, I would really like that. Then they scroll down and they see, oh my gosh, like everyone's getting access to this thing. And they're doing it recently, as you can see here. Guess what? They're far more likely to do now because of the social proof. They're also going to comment. So I really like that comment thing. Also, if for whatever reason you can't pin it to the top of the feed, if you do the comment structure, in most platforms, if the post that gets shown at the top of the feed, even if it's not pinned, is the one that had the recent activity on it. And so if you do comment below, that's going to get consistent new activity, which is going to consistently push it to the top of the feed. But if you use something like School, you can just pin it and it's always going to be there. But even so, I would still do the comment because you're going to get that social proof is huge. I can't stress that enough. So I'd really recommend to do the comment. As I say, we also did this with our review posts, which you could do as well, which now generates, as I say, 5 to 10 new reviews a day. So that's the first thing. Make that post exactly like this. I would just copy ours, like almost word for word. Give them something of super, super value. Remember, if it is a coaching product, especially if it's like a high volume coaching product, I would really recommend to give something away for free, like content wise or access wise or something like that, or a weekly group coaching call or something of that nature. But the content seems to just really do well. Pin it, and then it'll just consistently every single day just get consistent new either referrals or reviews if you want to do it for reviews. Now, the other thing is email automation. This is also super powerful. Our LTO is a very good product. And I know that anyone who stays after 30 days, like of course, as any kind of SaaS, like you're going to have people buy and then they'll drop out, of course. But I know if someone stays with us after 30 days and like, it by default means they love it, right? And so right now, actually, we have about 92% of total front-end buyers stick until after 30 days. I'm improving that because that obviously, in other words, means we have 8% churn. I know we can get that lower, but either way, if someone stays with us after 30 days, they love the product. They love the product. And so what I've now done as well, on top of these pinned posts here, is I've basically set up an email automation to send on day 32 to count for obviously the months that have 31 days. That is basically the exact same copy as these posts here, this one. within reason, it's the same copy. I've just obviously changed the format to suit on email, but it's basically the same post, which sells customers on why they should refer 3 friends and what they get if they do, right? And so this one here, this one here, right? Same thing. You can see this one's got 81 comments, whatever. And you can see, again, it's a similar style of copy. Again, I won't read this. You could read it in your own time, but I've changed that, obviously formatted it for email, and then that sends automatically on day 32. Again, what does that now create? A consistent system to get referrals without me doing anything. It's completely automated, right? And so again, I really want to reiterate that this works so well because, quote, the thing I'm giving them is ridiculously valuable, that if I sold it as a 5K-ish product, around a $5,000 product, they would 100% buy it, no questions asked. But I give it away for free if they refer 3 friends, right? Now, if my customers didn't want it, whether it's money or training or access or whatever, no one would refer. So what I don't want you to think is, oh, I need to set up an email automation because that's what's going to get me referrals. Or, oh, I need to, create a referral offer because that's what's going to get me referrals. It's like, no, that's the first step. But then the actual referral offer itself needs to be extremely desirable. Doing the pin post, comment here, whatever. It's like, yeah, that's one of the steps. But if what you're saying in the post isn't attractive, isn't, nobody wants it, it's not going to work, So I want to make that really, really clear. Now, as I say, to drill the point home one more time, when setting up your referral play, you really need to give away the farm, both monetary and non-monetary. You don't need to do both at the same time, but if it's monetary, you need to give away the farm. If it's non-monetary, you also need to give away the farm, right? The final thing you can do here is kind of build it into the onboarding process or welcome process. I haven't done this yet, but I am planning on doing this because I think this would work really, really well. I'm planning on adding a video in our onboarding/welcome flow on when a new client comes in on board, basically going through exactly how customers can get our big, sexy referral offer. It's like, hey, here's how you get this big, sexy thing if you want it, right? And as I say, it's kind of the frame of like, if you're interested, if not, no problem. I just wanted to give you the opportunity. If you want this, here's how you get it. But again, no, you're not forced by any means. If you don't want it, no problem, right? That's the tonality I'm coming across with it in. But again, because the thing I'm offering is so valuable, because I know all of my clients really want that thing, it's actually in my customer's best interest for me to just let them know, like, hey, here's how you get access to it if you want it, right? Which again is through referring, right? Because I know they will get better results if they have the thing and they will love it and they want that opportunity to get access because they really, really, really desire it. Do you know what I mean? So that's why I'm planning on building this into our onboarding and welcome flow, which again, once you build it into it, it's then a system that just runs in the background and you just receive referrals or receive reviews or whatever it is that you want to do. And so that's how you build that system. And again, this is for coaching products specifically. As for agency services, what I found works best is obviously through your account managers, incentivizing them, and then building it into your client journey, like I was mentioning here. And when I say build it into the client journey, I mean, like, you should, by default, as soon as your client gets the first big win, the next thing your account manager does is ask them for those referrals. Does that make sense? So it's like, okay, big win, then it's referrals. That's it. So like, that's what I mean when it's like building it into your client journey. Okay, so these are a few ways that we've built referral programs into our products and client journey, making it consistent and wildly profitable without needing any other form of marketing, right? But of course, we're still spending around 10K a day on ads. So I don't want you to think like we're just going all referrals now or whatever. We're still spending 10K a day on ads. So we're generating a ton of new customers. But now the only difference is, in the past, those new customers, we obviously always got referrals because the product is so good. But I don't like, what I've realized is I don't like relying on hoping that somebody reaches out and says, hey, I'll send you a referral. Because now just relying on them doing it, which doesn't happen often, as often as it could, is my point. So now, because we have such a great product, we now, obviously, if you did all this stuff in this training, but your product's shit, it doesn't matter. Like, that's not going to make up for a shit product. You've got, like, I'm assuming your service or your product or whatever it is that you're selling is actually good. If it is, then you add this on top, these referral plays, you're going to get a ton of referrals, And so, as I said before, what's now happening is we're spending 10K a day on ads and we're getting a ton of new customers in, which is what we was doing before. We were spending less before, but we were still getting a ton of new customers in. But what was happening before was it was just those customers that we was making money from. But now what we've been able to do is increase, like I said earlier in the video, we've doubled our ad spend to 10K a day and we're more profitable. And it's not because our ads are performing significantly better. Rather, it's because the clients we are signing are worth way more because they're referring on the back end at such a higher clip. Does that make sense? Because of these plays. So now what's happening is we're generating a ton of new customers, but now those new customers from ads are slowly propagating into 2 to 3 times that volume on the back end via referrals. So like one customer that we paid for on ads is now turning into 2 or 3 on the back end because now they're referring, which again is the reason why we've been able to increase spend and increase profitability on ads. So those new referrals as well from the ad customers also propagate into 2 to 3 more times referrals. I should say 2 to 3 times more referrals, and it exponentially compounds from there. So the ad customers turn into 2 to 3, then those 2 to 3 turn into 2 to 3, and so on and so forth. And that is how you get to 10 million a year through ads, by adding in referrals on the back end. So hopefully this was useful. Any questions, as always, please let us know. Let your account manager know. We're always updating this and changing it. We're testing a ton of things right now as well on top of what I've already gone through here. But this is just what we've found has worked really well. And I would recommend for you to replicate this immediately. And then anything new that we find, you'll be the first to know about it. And with that being said, as always, questions, let us know. And I'll see you in the next training.